Romanticism is a movement in the arts and literature that originated in the late 18th century, emphasizing inspiration, subjectivity, and primacy of the individual. The reasons why William Wordsworth can be considered a romantic poet are imagination. Most 18th century poets used to put emphasis on wit, but the romantic poets put emphasis on imagination. Wordsworth uses imagination so that simple things can be made to look strange and beautiful. Nature. Wordsworth was regarded as a poet of nature. In most of the poems that Wordsworth writes, he constructs nature as both a teacher and moral guardian. Because of that, nature in his poems is considered as a living personality. Subjectivity. In the poems which Wordsworth writes, he expresses his personal thoughts and feelings. Pantheism and mysticism. Wordsworth conceives of a spiritual power running through all natural objects. Humanism. Wordsworth was very enthusiastic for humanity. He was extremely interested in people who live in contact with nature, and he also showed admiration for the ideals which inspired the French Revolution.
On April 7th, 1770, a little tiny baby boy by the name of William Wordsworth would change the world and leave his mark on history like Orwell as before. His mother, who sadly died when Wordsworth was only 8, this horrific experience would shape most of his poetry. And then the young, eager Wordsworth attended Hawks Head Grammar School. This was where his love of poetry and his legendary career as a poet began. While he was at Hawks Head, another death plagued the Wordsworth family, this time his father, leaving young William and his 4 siblings alone, as orphans like Oliver Twist. When young William's time at Hawks Head Grammar School was done, he went to study at St. John's College in Cambridge. During his final semester, he went on a walking tour. This experience, as well as the French Revolution, brought Wordsworth's sympathy for life troubles and speech of the common man were published in his earliest collections, An Evening Walk and Descriptive Sketches. Soon after, a now grown-up William conceived a daughter named Caroline. After that, he left his fiancée, then came back and married a childhood friend, and they had 5 children. Later on, 2 of them died. In 1795, he had a meeting with poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Together, they published the Lyrical Ballads. Wordsworth's most famous work was called The Creed, which by many is considered to be the crowning achievement of English Romanticism. He worked on it through most of his life, though it was never published before he died. His wife soon published it 3 years after he died. And this is the life and times of William Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats over valleys and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. Beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze, ingenious as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretched in never-ending line along the margin of the bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such jaunty company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie, vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon an inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with daffodils.
The reasons why William Wordsworth can be considered a romantic poet are...
Or what?
That's where you're supposed to... Okay. Now you edit...
Go.
Pantheism and mysticism. Wordsworth conceives of a spiritual power running through all natural objects. Humanism. Wordsworth was very enthusiastic for humanity. He was extremely interested with people who live in contact with nature, and he also showed admiration for the ideals which he inspired.
Yo, don't say. Now, grown-up William conceived a daughter named Caroline. After that, he left fiancée. Oh, dang. That didn't make any sense.